I haven't pushed it that far. That'd be cool. Maybe I should do that. Should give it a
Yeah,
go.
yeah, give it a go. Are we good to kick off?
Yeah, crack on. If
Awesome.
people come in late, then I'll let them.
Awesome. Nice one. So we'll start with the usual question that we always do, and then we'll go into some slightly different areas today just to keep it fresh. But engagement. So a little recap of what engagement is. How often and frequently are you achieving flow state? Joy in your work? How focused do you feel? How enthusiastic do you feel in the morning? 10 out of 10, best it could possibly be. 0 out of 10 is the worst. Just drop your scores into the chat. 8 from Hannah, strong, love that. 8 from Shannon, that's good.
I'm giving a score for all of those things you just mentioned.
Yeah.
One
An
number.
amalgamation.
Oh, okay.
6. Cool. Okay. All right. And how about general mood? Same question. Score 0 to 10. Seven. Shannon and Hannah are perfectly aligned today.
I said 7 too.
7 2. Girl bond. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go the opposite way now. How about anxiety? 10 out of 10 is I'm experiencing anxiety all the time. 0 out of 10 is not at all. 8. 5. Okay, in the middle. Hannah, 5 6. Cool. Okay, let's loop around. Let's just get a bit of context on what's going on. So Hannah, you're at the top. What's going on for you? I know that we've been working on some environment stuff and getting you a bit more space and time to just process and sort things out.
Yeah.
To share as much as you feel comfortable to, but just reflecting on that engagement. What's going on in your world at the moment?
I feel like I'm fairly engaged with my tasks, and kind of I worked really hard to sort of set in motion what's to come. So sort of like what needs to happen in order to get to this bit and then work backwards. So I've done quite a lot of work on that, which has been really helpful. I think my personal life is the thing that's impacting the most at the moment on my kind of work and my anxiety. So I don't actually think at the moment it's business. That might change when the focus becomes more on the business. Because at the moment I'm doing lots of things behind the scenes, so it doesn't feel quite so pressured. But when that switches, I think the anxiety within the business will go up. But actually, it's like kind of personal life at the moment, which is causing that sense of overwhelm.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Kieran and I had our one-to-one yesterday, and we were speaking about this exact topic. And what we both agreed upon is that actually business becomes almost a safe space. Once you understand what needs to happen to move the needle forward, all you got to do is kind of push the buttons. Unless you're in a major growth phase, which I know that you've potentially got coming up going into next year, that could change. But for me, business becomes a bit of a safe space, and it's the personal stuff that does cause the most turbulence. So have you got enough space to be able to push the personal buttons?
I think that's the bit that I need to sort of work on a little bit. I'm really trying, and I think actually I've done amazingly well in the circumstances, but it's still tricky. So I feel like I've given myself a bit more space, but I've still got more that I probably need.
Got you. In terms of your structure, if you were to score that on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best it could be, where would you score that right now?
In terms of actual, like when you look at my diary structure, it's like 10. Like I'm on it in terms of what, but then when you look at what I feel like I should be, I know the should, but within that time, I'm not actually utilizing some of that time effectively. So although I've designated time to, and I've got it very regimented, where I should be at what particular time, actually what I'm doing in that time could be refined and made better.
Why do you think that is? What do you think the reason is that you're not using that time effectively?
Well, one of them, Ryan, laugh, and Dan, like, I do think the whole understanding more about my ADHD brain that is one reason, and it's being more focused on the thing. So I think a lot of it is to do with being just, I just am so easily distracted by all the things that are going on and all the pings and stuff that goes off all the time, that then it means that I'm not as productive as I could be within the times I've got.
Got it. Okay. And when we're talking about these times that you could be more productive, are they typically on the business type tasks whereby you're sat behind your computer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any way that you could change your environment up? You know, and try and working in some new places, whether it's a coffee shop or somewhere where I like to go would be a hotel lobby, quite a nice place to go and work, or even a library. If you're just going to lock in and go into focus mode, going to a library can be a really effective place because you've got zero distractions there.
Yeah. I could. I mean, I think I've worked quite hard to create this environment that I'm sat in right now. So I feel like that was my purpose and intention, was to use that. I just need to somehow stop the notifications for this coming up, and it's things that I know need to do. I need, like, in my brain I've got all these tabs open and I'm trying to close them all at the same time, and rather than doing one at a time. So yeah, I could change up my environment. I love a coffee shop because I love coffee, but and I tend to pick up millions of clients from coffee shops as well somehow, but that's not necessarily the most productive use of time.
Yeah, it's just thinking about perhaps certain tasks that could be allocated to different environments. You know, don't do this anymore, but I used to go and write content in coffee shops, and that was what their only purpose was for me. It was almost like an anchor, something that I think we've spoken about in our sessions. You'd probably be aware of this with your hypnotherapy training, but an anchor is an idea from neuro-linguistic programming. For those who don't know, it's built on the idea that brain neurons that fire together will wire together. So by going to a coffee shop to do one specific task, you'll be programming your neurology to be prepared for that task. So you go there, you only do that, and then you come back. And the more you do that, the more you're solidifying that thought pattern. So can be a really effective way to just create novelty for certain tasks. You're now in your office, which is really positive. How have you found the effect of that to impact your work?
I have been more conducive, and I have felt more focused, for sure. I think I'm just quite good at being able to put off the things that I don't really enjoy doing so much, like social media, weekly client machine. I just don't like it. When it's out there, it's fine, but I don't like creating it because I overthink it. So like Ryan gave me the chat GTP thing, which has been really helpful, because I literally just brain dump in it and then pull out bits. So yeah, Ryan's been a bit like a therapist to me in these calls. But that's been helpful to help. So yeah.
Well, if you think about Ryan GPT, think about where you're at in your professional journey, Hannah. You are now approaching a growth phase, and really what we want is for you to be spending as much time as possible in your genius zone. So your genius zone is that space where you're doing tasks that you're good at and that you enjoy. Because really, particularly when you look at the scale, you are now becoming too expensive to be doing tasks that you don't enjoy and that you're not very good at. So whether this is something that we could do together in our next one-to-one, so just explore what they are and get clarity on what you're good at, what you enjoy, and what you don't enjoy, and what you're not good at. And over time, really, we want to be trying to leverage your genius zone as much as possible by offloading the tasks that you don't enjoy and that you're not good at. So it sounds like content is definitely up the top of that list.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. We can look back around after. Shannon, 8 out of 10 for engagement. We were talking about money mindset stuff last time. I mentioned that to put a pin in it, and we can look back around to that, see how that's evolved for you after the sheet which I shared with you. What's life like in your world right now? If you could paint a picture, what would it look like?
Things are quite good. Like I'm enjoying work a little bit more. I've taken the pressure off myself. Which I think because now the pressure's not there, things are happening like more naturally.
Yeah.
So I think when I don't put the pressure on myself, I'm more positive, which means then more positive things happen.
Yeah.
Whereas then I can like handle things better, I think, when one little thing might happen. Whereas previously, I think I had quite a lot of like built up, like negative energy almost. So it felt like it was hard to get out of that state. And I think that just came from like spending time like kind of away from the business a little bit and just allowing me my time. So yeah, I feel really like positive with work side of things. It's enjoyable. I just think this time of year, like it's nearly Christmas, like everybody seems to be like happy. Like, I don't know, I just like doing my job in December.
Yeah, I love that. And we were talking about your emotional container being quite full previously, right? So it sounds like you might have actually popped the cap a little bit and let some of the pressure out.
Yeah, work side of things probably. Yeah, I think then it, like Hannah said, it's you seem to nail one and then the other one is like, oh, okay, you've lost track of that now. So it's like hard to get a balance of that. But yeah, the work side of things, like you said, is that safe space, which feels nice now that I have that.
Good. And how about the money mindset stuff? How did you find the sheet which I sent you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it definitely like made me speak more to like people around me as well about it. And I think I like kind of came to a decision. It's not about the money, it's more about control.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like how I like to control lots of different aspects of my life potentially and whatever surrounds me. So I think obviously money is probably a form of that. But yeah, I don't think it's directly money, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well done. That's great self-awareness. Clearly, you kind of worked through the layers a little bit there, and that is often what happens. You know, what we see and can identify and articulate in the moment is often the top layer, and there is something deeper than that. So just to go even deeper on this control piece, is it a fear of losing control?
Oh yeah, massively. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know again where that would like stem from. Or maybe, yeah, like a bit of fear of control or like doubt like of decisions that I make and things like that. That's probably quite present in like both aspects of like personal and business side of things.
Are you up for running an experiment?
Yeah.
See if we can figure out where this comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So fear of losing control suggests that the emotion that is coming up for you here is fear. Is that right? Or would you call it something else?
No, that's right. Yeah.
That's right. And if you were to point to an area of your body where you feel fear the most, where would you point?
My stomach.
Okay. Heavy or light?
Heavy.
Can you feel it now?
Not right now. No.
Okay. When was the last time you felt that?
Yesterday.
What was going on for you?
I've got some like personal stuff going on where it's just where I've like made decisions and they're coming back around. I feel like I should be further on with the decisions, but I'm not.
Got it. Okay. And was it a heavy feeling yesterday?
Yeah.
It was. Okay. And on a scale of 0 to 10, and 10 being the strongest it can be, how strong was it at that moment?
10.
Powerful then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What I'd like you to do is take the palm of your hand, place it on the area of your stomach where you felt that the most at the time. And if you're open to, feel comfortable, close your eyes.
Yeah.
And just sink into that feeling of fear. It might be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah, I thought it might be. Well, if you were to give me a safe word to get some distance away from that fear and make it less all-encompassing, what would that safe word be?
Let's move on.
Move on. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So remember that you can call that out at any point in time.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that comes to you that you don't feel comfortable sharing, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is about you and your process. I'm going to guide you through something. I appreciate that we're in a group coaching container here, and there may be some things that you don't want to share.
Yeah.
That's fine. You can do this all inside your own mind. If you do want to share, that's great. I'm sure that everybody here is is certainly not going to judge you for anything you say, but this is about you and not us. So if you want to do it inside your head, that's absolutely fine. So if you're open to it, close your eyes once again and put your hand on that part of your stomach where you feel fear the most.
Yeah.
And what I'd like you to do, staying connected to that fear, remembering that it's ultimately connected to a fear of losing control, is to imagine your life on a timeline. And what that timeline looks like is entirely up to you. It could be really complex, like a street with lots of houses on it, or it could simply just be a line. What it looks like isn't important, but what is important is that you get a sense for which direction is the past and which direction is the future. If you were to point, keeping your eyes closed, in the direction of the future, which way would you point?
Oh, that way.
To the right. Good. Okay. And that must mean that the past is going to the left.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Now, if you were to move yourself above the line, would it be easier for you to move the lines away from you, or to stay still and move yourself?
What do you mean, sorry?
Let me re-explain that. So
Okay.
if you were to move yourself above the line,
Yeah.
would it be easier for you to move the lines away from you, or for you to move yourself away from the lines?
Move the lines away from me.
Move the lines away from you. Good. Now, if you wanted to move along your timelines from past to future, is it easier for you to move or stay still and move the lines?
Move the lines, but me stay still.
Excellent. That's perfect. So I'd like you to get some distance from above your timeline now. And then from that position above your timeline, ask your unconscious mind, if you were to know the first event connected to that fear of losing control, such that by going back to it, you could let it go completely and for good, would it be a time before you were 5, between 5 and 10, or after you were 10?
After I was 10.
After you were 10. That's good. So allow your unconscious mind to float back along your timeline now, all the way back to this very first event, until you're above it. And if you could look down and see what's going on down there, keeping your eyes closed, what's going on?
I can't, sorry.
It's okay. Okay.
It's me breaking up with my ex.
Okay. 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 Remember, you don't need to share. This is for you. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you happy to continue? Or would you
Yeah.
like to press pause?
Yeah.
Well
No,
done.
fine.
Well done. I'm proud of you. You can do this. Now, as you look down on that event, Shannon, if there was a connection between that event and the fear of losing control that you've had up until now, what would the connection be?
I think it's like making a decision.
Yeah.
Like me making a decision, but then not knowing still like if it was the right decision. So I feel like out of control, if that makes sense.
Right. So making a decision, but not having firm belief in said decision, which makes you feel like you're out of control.
Yeah, and almost like disappointed in myself that I'm like 2 years on and I still feel like this. And I think because all the other parts of my life are like progressing,
Yes.
it's hard. I feel like I failed that part, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, just close your eyes again and
Yeah.
get back to that position above your timeline. Now, we know what the connection is. We know what the event is. We're making really good progress here. Now, as you look down at that event, if there was something that the you at that age could learn from you now, which by learning it would allow her to let go of that fear, that judgment towards self and not progressing, and that fear of losing control, what would you have her learn?
Well, if I hadn't have made that decision, I wouldn't be here right now in terms of like my business. So obviously part of things like that have helped, but yeah, I don't know.
What did you need to hear at the time more than anything else?
What at the time it happened?
Yeah. what would have been a really, really good piece of advice?
I think probably what I did here, which was it's the right thing to do right now.
It's the right thing to do right now.
Yeah.
Got it. And you know what? You haven't said this, but if I could just pass you an insight here whilst you're keeping your eyes closed and staying connected to that.
Yeah.
It couldn't have happened any other way. And do you know why?
Why?
Because it didn't.
Yeah.
As you say, it's the right thing to do now. So from here, keeping your eyes closed, if she were to know that, if she were to know that it couldn't have happened any other way because it didn't, and it is the right thing to do now, is there anything else that she would need to know before she let that fear of losing control go?
No, but it doesn't help me now because I don't feel like now. I
Yeah,
don't know if that makes sense. Like it's hard to like now so much has changed that it's not the same feeling. So now I question everything.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Well, I think we've done some great work here in making this connection. So the final bit of this process here, just to wrap this up and make sure that it's no longer holding you back as much. If you close your eyes once more.
Yep.
And I'd like you to form a visualization of your younger self at this point and imagine being able to pass down that lesson to her, giving her reassurance that it's the right thing to do. And there may be some other things that come to you that you might feel a little bit uncomfortable sharing. That's okay. This part here is all about what happens inside you, inside your mind. So just connect to that younger version of yourself for a moment and let her hear what needs to be heard from you so that the fear of losing control is no longer an issue. Let her feel what she needs to feel, knowing that she's just been through a difficult moment. She might just need to feel connection, love, and support. It might be that simple. Now, I'd like you to move along your timeline.
Yeah.
To just before this event occurred so that you can look down at the event as if it's below you and in front of you.
Yeah.
Facing in the direction of now. Let me know when you're there.
Yeah. No.
Good. Good. So from that position, where's that fear now? Is it there or has it gone?
Definitely not there as much.
Good. Perfect. Now imagine going down into that event with the fear definitely not there as much. And notice how it's different. How much better is that?
Yeah, it helps you be a little bit more sure on what you've decided.
Perfect. Good. Good. So one final thing. If you were to imagine going out to an event in the future, which if it had happened in the past, would have been connected to that fear and that fear of losing control. If you look down into that event, how different is that now?
I think it's like the like sort of logical side kicks in. It's like even if you like make a decision, there will still be like positives out of it, I think.
Perfect. What would those positives be?
I don't really know, but like it doesn't have to be like a negative thing. Like just because one thing doesn't feel right or feels uncomfortable, you can still like feel like you can get something from it or achieve other parts of that.
Doesn't have to be a negative thing. You can still achieve other parts of it.
Yeah.
So I love that. Well, look, you be with yourself for as long as you need.
Yeah.
And then in your own time, you can bring yourself back to the core.
Thanks.
Let's just show Shannon some love there because that took a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to go through that. So really well done. It's not easy, particularly in a group setting. That was really, really powerful. So well done.
Thank
If you
you.
need to go and take a minute and get some fresh air, please feel free.
Yeah.
None of us will be offended. That was a heavy one, so you take all the time you need. But well done. I'll reach out to you privately after, and if there's anything that you need to make sense of in a private one-to-one context, we can definitely put some time in for that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great work. So, Ryan, let's go back up to the chat. You've got a 6 in terms of engagement. What's going on in your world, buddy?
Probably the same old shit. Shannon's share has brought up some stuff for me, so that's fun. It's all just a bit of a mess.
Mm.
I'm just battling a lot of stuff that wants to come to the surface because I have a hard time letting things go, and that's tiring.
Yeah. I think that previously we were speaking and you were potentially looking at working with a therapist or had started working with a therapist, or
I've had one for
ChatGPT for a little while as well.
I've had one for quite a while, which helps, but sort of only so much.
Why do you think that is?
Because thinking things through and talking about them only has so much of an effect. Getting on with things and physically detaching yourself by taking on new endeavors, or sort of, at least for me, I don't know, changing elements of my life that draw me back into that space has been more effective. But you can't. I don't think therapy has the ability to fix some of the, I guess, demons and things that I've got. It's just going to be a time thing.
Well, remember that there isn't one form of therapy that works for everyone. That's not possible because every human is inherently different, right? But I believe that there is a form of therapy out there which will work for everyone. And there might be one form of therapy that only works for one person in the world. And that's because every therapist is going to bring something slightly different. When you see CBT, you see hypnotherapy, somatic therapy, whatever, that's just the methodology. But the individual person is always going to be the number one predictor of success, not the type of therapy. So maybe the person that you're working with right now isn't the best fit. Maybe the type of therapy that they are taking you through isn't the best fit. But I try not to let that one person be an overarching therapy won't work for me, because there may be someone out there, even if they're a coach or a therapist, whatever, doesn't make a difference. There will be someone out there who can help you understand what it is.
I don't disagree. Yeah, no, that's completely reasonable. Part of the reason I keep seeing this guy is he's been there when everything turned to shit this time last year, and so I don't know. He's just doing me a solid and looking after me. He just everything's bulk billed. I haven't had to pay for therapy in a year. He just bulk builds it to Medicare. Normally I pay the gap, but he's done his voodoo magic and he's like, you're not going to pay anything. And I mean, the annoying thing is, like, I actually saw the guy last night, and it wasn't all good news, but the bulk of it was good news because of me kind of moving forward. Yeah, I've just got a lot that goes on in my head. So yesterday was a good day. Say a little bit off as of about 15 minutes ago, slightly worse.
Because of the process that we just went through with Shannon.
Part of that, because I empathize tremendously with, obviously not the same, but I empathize tremendously with it sounds like Shanna's still wrestling with past things.
Yeah.
I sure as shit know what that feels like at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the cherry on top, Hannah and I were talking about maybe catching up on WhatsApp. I tried punching her number into WhatsApp while I was listening, and it said no contacts found. So I was like, I don't know, I'll type in Hannah Buckley. And I started typing in Hannah B, and a picture of my ex-wife popped up because a month after she left me, she changed her name to her mother's maiden name. And she's got a sexy little display picture that popped up because 2 months after she left me, she was back on dating sites.
Right.
And we've been together 13 years.
Mm.
So just small things like that, like just coincidentally. Sorry, Hannah, you share the same name as my ex. And just seeing her face and I know what the display picture is communicating, and it just brings all that shit back to the surface.
Yeah, I hear
There's
you.
a lot. I'll see if that helps. I'll check later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was responding to Hannah there. Yeah. So it's up and down, but I can't do anything about it.
And is this what you're working with your therapist on?
This myriad of
Sure.
it's all just a bit of a mess. Yeah. So I don't know how much you remember, but it was like end of October last year. She tells me she wants to leave. 2 weeks later, we were still trying to sort things out. 2 weeks after that, I found out I had Asperger's and ADHD, and then 2 weeks later, she left. And so I've been navigating these new diagnoses and the pain and the complicated way my brain seems to work, all of that at the same time, while somehow trying to pay for everything. I just haven't had a break in like 6-7 years. I haven't had a break since my eldest came along, and she's just turned 7. So, yeah, I just haven't had the money all the time. I'm just wrecked. And through that time, people that you expected to be there just simply weren't. So I'm going through a pretty big transition at the moment.
Who are you without all of that?
Sorry, what was that?
Who are you without all of that?
Fuck if I know. I was left with that question. I don't know if you recall this either. I don't know if it came up in a problem-solving session or just a session. I remember, David, you asked the question. It was something like, I can't remember how it came up, but Dave or you or I think it was David, asked a question like, what do you do for fun or whatever? And I had to turn the camera off because I actually broke down. Because at that point I was like, I don't know what I do for fun anymore. I distract myself on games or YouTube, but I don't know what I do for fun because I've just busted myself for the last like 4 years trying to provide for this family and just giving. She took half the money and walked off. So I don't know who I am. That's part of what I'm going through this process of. I'm in a void. I'm in a void, and I'm on my own. I'm looking after 2 girls 50% of the time, and I'm meant to be there emotionally for clients. And then I have to do content, and I have to nurture people when I'm already emotionally just tapped out. And be there for clients, be there for myself somehow. I'm just tired, man.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
A lot of shit. It's a lot of shit.
Yeah. It's about Project Rediscovering Ryan.
Yes, and the solution I've come up with is, in order to really figure out who I am or to have a significant amount of the stress in my life alleviated, you need to have some more financial security, which is why I've gone so hard with this project for next year, because if I pull it off, I'll have a lot more financial security and a lot more flexible time. It's just a monumental amount of effort to get that going. Yeah, but that's the golden ticket in my mind. I have to win.
And do you feel like you've got the right people in your corner right now?
Part of this process for me this year there's been some family breakdown, which is a complicated other thing on its own. So my old kind of social circles and support networks kind of haven't really been there, and I'm discovering sort of new ones, but they're all sort of fresh. So I really am in a weird limbo. I'm grateful for it because I can see how much this is beneficial for me to grow. And as disagreeable as this may sound, and as cliche as it is, the saying that kind of feels like it's sunk into me this year is only women and children are loved unconditionally. Men, I think this is probably true. Men are generally loved based on the amount of value that they provide other people. And so that's just a reality that I've had to suck up and dig into. If I want a better support network, if I want a better future, I have to become a better version of me.
Is that something that you've always held to be true? Or just when you saw it this year?
I've always despised the weakness I saw in myself. And part of this is probably helping David understand why I'm going down the path of sort of wanting to coach / mentor young men that I am. I knew that I wasn't the man that I needed to be for a very, very long time, but I didn't really have anyone to explain to me how to kind of get there. As all this has kind of fallen apart, and I've heard that phrase and listened to people kind of talk about it, it has dawned on me that probably is an unspoken cultural truth. That is just almost a biological reality. I don't think it's wrong. I think I've just had to swallow the hard pill that that's probably how it is.
So what does that mean about you?
That feels like sort of a vague question. Do you have more of a specific one, or do you want me to try answering that?
It's vague by design.
What does that mean? What was it? What does that mean for me or to me?
To you. And to give you a kind of like, you know, on a bowling alley, you've got the rails up along the sides. If I just give you something which you've said and reflect it back, always despise the weakness you saw in yourself. The guardrails on the bowling alley. What does that mean to you?
That's a really tricky one to kind of put into words.
I'll tell you what, I really want to help you, Ryan. I'm going to send you my calendar link. I'd like you to book in a call with me. I'm not going to sell to you. I'm not going to try and pitch you TMP's program. Don't worry. I want to help you unpack that. I want to get you some clarity on that. And I want to make sure that Erin gets some time here as well. So if you're open to it, we'll put 45 minutes, an hour in the diary, and we'll see if we can get to the bottom of that for you. Is that okay?
That'd be great. I had one of your TMP guys reach out to me a little while ago, and I'm like, if I had the money, I would pay for you guys.
Yeah. Well, look, like I said, you have my word. It's not going to be a pitch. It's not going to be me positioning the program. I understand your situation. It would be inconsiderate of me to do that. So I'm not going to do that. I just want to get you a little bit less stuck than you are right now.
Cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's do it. I don't know how we set that up, but yeah, I'm down.
I'll send you a link after.
Cool. Cheers.
Amazing. Thank you. Erin, good to see you.
Hello.
Haven't seen you for a while. How's things?
No, it's all right. It's just busy. It's just chaos.
Busy and chaos. Is that a good busy and chaos?
It is, but it isn't. Like, I don't know, from like hearing Ryan and Shannon, I think I've sort of realised there's probably a lot more going on than I have realised there was going on. And how negative it's like affecting me, if that makes sense. So I've had a lot going on with clients. I've had so many clients with like husbands, mums, sisters, all being diagnosed with cancer. And then I've had a family member diagnosed with it, and it's just like, woof, all at once. And then I've had like people that have been quite close to me pass away, and then on top with like being completely burnt out, like there's just nothing left to give. My anxiety's just rocketed, and it's like each day it's just like just getting to the end of the day, and at the minute it's like just get into 9 o'clock, watch I'm a Celebrity, and then get in bed, and it's just ticking like that. And it's just like I'm starting to feel like I'm in a box, and the walls are coming in and the roof's coming down, and I'm just feeling trapped. And it's getting quite sort of uncomfortable.
I hear you. Well, thank you for being so open and honest. Just on the point about lots of clients and connections being diagnosed with cancer, that's really tough. I can imagine how much of an emotional weight that is causing you to carry around. But I say this with love. You are not a therapist, and you are not there to help your clients get through that stuff. And a lot of therapists burn out in their first year, and that's because they're taking on a lot of their clients' energy, particularly when we're talking about something like cancer. It's a very emotionally charged and loaded subject. And of course, you're there to support, provide guidance, and help people achieve their goals, but try not to get too involved with helping them really process the emotion of grief, because it's a difficult emotion to work with. What I would recommend you do with those clients, particularly as you're getting quite a lot of them coming up at the moment, is signposting them. I am part of a network, the Quest group, which is the therapy school that I qualified with. There's over 500 therapists in there, some of which are cancer specialists. So if you want to reach out to me, I can provide you a list of therapists who specialized within cancer, grief, and coaching. And your clients will really respect you for signposting them to people who can help. And that way you're protecting your integrity as their coach. That's what you're there to help them with, right? And you're also showing that you empathetically care for them by giving them the help that they need. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm not trying to like help them in a therapy way. It's just that they're coming in and saying, you know, my brother's been diagnosed with this, and then I'm, and then we sort of move on with the session. But it's just sort of, it's almost like tapping away at me, and I'm like, every day I wake up and I've got some sort of deadly disease in my head. I'm just like, so I think it's less them, it's more like me. It's just that maybe now that people are telling me, and more people are telling me, it's getting harder. I've got a client who a couple of weeks ago, she didn't turn up to a session. There was no, like, she's not like that. So I messaged her a few times, didn't have a response. And then someone reached out to me who was a friend and just said to me, her dad's just died and her husband's been diagnosed the same day with terminal cancer. And I haven't seen her since. But I also train her best friend, and her best friend's husband's just been diagnosed with terminal cancer as well. And it's just like, woof, all at once. And I suppose that for a knock-on effect of me is that those two particular clients are now having some time off, obviously. And then it's, I don't want to be like selfish about it, but then I'm also sat thinking, oh God, that's another 2 people that aren't paying next month. And then I've had a load of clients pull out this week, which all of them are just like people that probably weren't a good fit for the business anyway and are leaving. And I'm like, oh my God, like financially it's hard. I haven't been paid by a few of my clients this month either, so I'm obviously not training them, but that's more money that I've not got. And like this month has just been financially difficult as well, so I've got like the pressure of that. It's just like, everything at once just before Christmas.
Yeah. Are you working with any coaches or therapists at the moment for your support?
No, I did some, like Brian, someone reached out to me from TMP, but it sounds stupid, but I literally don't have the time. Like I've been going through my calendar and I haven't even got everything in my calendar. Like there's no training for me in there. There's no time for me. I'm literally starting at 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm not finishing till 8 o'clock at night. And it's just that I'm just like, how am I meant to fit everything that I need to do in 24 hours? Like it's either I don't train and then I put on weight and then I feel shit about myself and it just spirals. Or I lose clients, lose income, but I'm not at the point where I can do that. So it's a yeah, I'm really sort of, I feel really stuck in the mud at the minute.
And are you under financial constraint as well?
I am, but I'm not. Problem is I'm trying to save for a house, and every time I dip into my savings, I'm like, great, that's another month that I won't be getting a house. And with house prices going up and up and up in Cornwall, it's just getting to the point where it's ridiculous. Like there's not. I just keep thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm still going to be at home, and I'm, so, and I sort of need that break. I need to be not, because I work where I live, so I need to be away from work because I'm forever in work. So yeah.
If the housing market is the thing that is driving you to burnout right now, that's going to be really challenging for you to keep up with. And I appreciate your desire to get on the ladder. I never made it, but I can see why you would definitely want to. But if it's not a case of I need to work this many sessions and put this amount of work in a week just to survive and put food on the table, then you're going to have to create space for yourself, because you are, by the sounds of things, stuck in a bit of a loop at the moment, stuck in a cycle. And we can't solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them, because we'll never get out of that loop. So right now, you're going to have to create some space for yourself to either go and find, a coach or a therapist or a mentor, or something for your mental health side of things, whether that's TMP, or again, if you want me to recommend you to another therapist in my network, which would be much lower cost. Most of them do offer like a session by session basis, which makes it a lot more attainable for you, rather than paying, a program cost like we do. But there are people out there who will be able to help you. And I remember the first call we had together, you were saying a very similar thing. So it sounds like you've been stuck in this burnout cycle for some time now. And the challenge that you got, Erin, is that unfortunately you'll probably end up resenting your business at some point. And I know that you've got so much more in the tank and you've got so much more to offer and so many more people to help, but it's just not going to be possible unless you protect your energy, which is ultimately, in my opinion, most vital resource that we have. Now, look, I appreciate I've just gone on a bit of a speech there. Does that land with you? Make sense?
Yeah. No, like I already resent my business. I can like see that, like, and it's a in my head, it's like I feel like TMP is the right sort of move for me because of the fact that it's just improving where I am. And I think, but it's just really hard because it is a loop. And I think one of the main reasons is burnout. And the first holiday I would have since lockdown, the last lockdown, I haven't had any time off. The first time off will be Christmas. So I'm just counting down the days till Christmas so I can literally just sit and chill. And just sort of recharge my batteries a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you. Did you speak to someone at TMP? I presume it's probably Charlotte who reached out to you, was it?
No, I think it was Kieran. I sort of spoke I spoke to him a little bit, but I know I booked in a call, but I just like I can't afford that at the minute as well. So it's I'm sort of stuck in a little bit of a loop.
What's one thing that you can do to create an hour extra time a week?
I don't know, because I don't even sit and like watch TV or anything like that. So it's not even that sort of stuff. I feel like I'm forever on this treadmill that's getting faster and faster and harder and harder. But I just can't jump off it, and it's just getting faster and faster and faster. So like I don't even know like what I can do different, because I feel like I'm forever just doing something. Like whether it's doing sell by chat, whether it's doing social media, whether it's doing clients, whether it's doing writing programs, I just feel like it's like never ending.
How long ago in the past do you have to go to a point in time when you didn't feel like this?
So this probably sounds mental, but when I was finishing school, I was already working in a gym. So I did school in the week and working in a gym in the weekend. So I'm probably going to say like pre GCSEs, because I've always been a workhorse. I've always, you know, done college or university and then worked, etc. So I'm going to say at least 7 years, 8 years.
Where does that determination and burning desire to grow come from? I'm not saying that's a bad thing, by the way. We don't want to lose that. That's what's got you to the point here. But the bit that I'm interested in is the other side, which is I just need to work at all costs and kind of not taking notice of energy. Why do you think that bit comes from?
Being bullied at school.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. So that's what's keeping you in the loop.
Yeah.
Is that right? That's the pin that's holding this whole burnout cycle together. So whether you go to therapist or, you know, TMP when the time is right, that's going to be your ticket out.
Yeah.
Resolving that. And I understand that that's a heavy one. It's a difficult one. It's probably a really powerful energy that's inside and compelling you towards this growth, got to win, got to succeed. And that determination isn't going to go away. What I see quite often in coaching clients is that there's some kind of dark energy that's operating inside them, which serves as I'm going to fucking show you, I'm going to prove you wrong. And the fear can be that, well, if I get rid of that, then I'm going to have no motivation and no desire to keep moving. So I've got to keep that. But actually, that determination and drive is an inherent part of Erin. It's never going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still retain that, but lose this. Got to fucking go all the time.
Yeah. It's definitely stemmed from that, and just the constant feeling of needing to be better than them, because they always made me feel like I was low. Yeah.
I hear you. Well, look, I appreciate that now is probably not the best time financially, but it might be worth having a chat with Charlotte, who heads up the solopreneur side of the business. I'll brief her. I'll make sure that she doesn't pitch you, as I'm not going to pitch Ryan, just to kind of get an idea of what we're all about, because it's then action, isn't it? There's something that's happening which will give you a kind of inclination of what's to come in the future and get you out of this hole, kind of gets you some visibility of what it's like out of that cycle, if you're open to that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So this has been a heavy one today, guys. We've covered a lot of ground and been through some big puzzles. How are we all feeling? If we could just drop a word in the chat based on what this experience has been, how we are doing, just to make sure that everybody's leaving in a good place and isn't going to bury their head in the sand. Impressed. Great. Yeah, I'm very impressed with everyone today. Yeah, Shannon's ready to go to the gym and lift some heavy shit. Yeah, I feel a bit like that as well. Go lift some Shannons. Yeah.
Slight inside joke with that one, Dan. Shannon was showing us the weight she was squatting the other day, and we're basically now, a Shannon is a new weight metric.
Right.
It's not I lifted 20 kilos today. It's I lifted a Shannon, or I did 2.5 Shannons.
Love that.
She's creating her own metric.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. Shannon, it will be lush. Hannah, motivated for change. Cool. Great work, guys. This has been a really, really powerful one. Erin's off to deadlift to Shannon. Awesome. Well, we've got a bit of time. Is there anything else that anyone wanted to go through? We're all keen to go and deadlift some Shannons. In for sleep. What time is it for you, Ryan? 10. Yeah, got it. Bedtime. My bedtime anyway. Cool. I think we're good. And needs to get a horse in for the vet, so it could take a while. Awesome. Yeah, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really, really appreciate your engagement and vulnerability today. If anything that we've discussed here has made you feel like unsettled to the point where you need to unpack it a little bit more, just reach out. As Ryan, I'm going to send you a link. Erin, if you're happy to, I will get Charlotte to reach out and put something in your diary. And Shannon, I'll also reach out to you as well, just to make sure that that process is where it needs to be for you. And that'll probably be this evening. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you for that.
Awesome. Nice one. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Have an incredible day, and I'll see you all again soon.
Well done, team. Thanks, Dan.
Thank
See ya.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.